Well. Good evening, John.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Oh,
Oh?
hold on.
What? What are you doing?
I think I've just managed to sub to us with Prime.
Oh, gonna get Amazon Prime to give us some money. If
I
you
have,
are, if you
I
are
have.
watching on Twitch and you have an Amazon Prime account, then please feel free to do that. You can sub to us for free, and it will give us about $2 a month, and you don't have to say anything. Outdo Militant Mushroom over on YouTube, and over on YouTube, if you are supportive of what we do and would like to become a patron, you can become a patron at patreon.com/chasing dissent, or a subscribe star at subscribestar.com/chasing dissent. John,
Ben.
introduce the show.
Good evening, one and all, and thank you for attending this episode 117 of Chasing Dissent
117.
Live. 117. From me, the man formerly in the van, and now hunkering in the bunker, and from Ben in the South Coast studio of this fair land that was once known as England.
Yeah, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. 117, and still I quite enjoy. Well, I say I quite enjoy. I really look forward to doing these shows. Actually,
I thought our last show was a triumph.
What, the 45-minute one we did in the afternoon?
Well, that was exceptional, but so was the one before it.
Yeah, no,
Blocked.
Yeah. So, for those that don't know, one of the companies owned by the YouTuber/boxer KSI struck our last show because we used the 30-second clip of Sam Hyde. So another YouTuber copy struck us, even though they knew it was fair use, because it absolutely was fair use.
Yeah, it's a 1 hour long show and it's a 30-second clip.
Yeah. So Vaughan says, so Notting Hill Carnival.
What of it?
What of it?
What of it? So what? As Stabby Jabby would say.
Well, it's just
every year.
It's just another afternoon in London, really, isn't it? Because London's absolutely out of control now.
Well, it's not that bad. I mean, you've got a city of what? How many people live in London? 5, 6, 10 million? I don't know. You've got a huge city, and 4 people died at the weekend through either stupidity or violence. That's actually not that bad in a city of 5 million people.
I was going to say, isn't that like the first 2 hours of a Friday morning in Chicago?
Yeah, the first 5 minutes in Chicago.
Well, exactly. So we want to get on something before we get into the list, and that's the announcement this morning from Eurostar. John, tell us what Eurostar have announced this morning.
Well, Eurostar said they're going to concentrate on their core business, and they've given you the dates for the last train that will go into Disney.
Yes, so Eurostar have decided to cut all direct services from the UK, not just from London. Well, it is really just from London. I'll get into that in a sec. To the Disneyland Paris Resort. So those of you who don't know, you could, up until very soon, jump on a train directly from a UK Eurostar station and get off in a station called Marne-la-Vallée, Chessy, which is inside the Disneyland Paris Resort. You step outside the train, you come up the escalators into the station. There's Disney Village in front of you. There's Disneyland Park to your right. They're directly in the middle of the two. They have decided for the foreseeable future, perhaps permanently, to cut this service completely. So if parents want to take their children over to Disneyland Paris, they must now go to either Lille Europe and change train, or into Paris, Gare du Nord, and change train. This is absolute insanity, in my view. This is self-destruction, and I don't understand why they're doing it, because they've already closed off all services from 2 of their UK stations, Ashford and Ebbsfleet. You cannot get a Eurostar from those 2 places anymore. You haven't been able to for a few years to go anywhere, not just Disneyland Paris. And now they're cutting their service out of their one station they do have left, King's Cross and Pancras, to the bone. And I don't get it. It's absolute self-destruction, because the majority of people taking a Eurostar service into France are more than likely going to Disneyland Paris. And that's reflected by what the Ashford station was. I mean, the Ashford International Station has a giant mock-up of Disneyland Paris's castle on their elevator, and then you have to go in that elevator to go up to the Eurostar platform because most people were going to Disneyland.
Yeah, crazy.
It is crazy. Self-destruction, and I don't get it.
It's not really saving them money either, is it?
I wouldn't have thought so, because I can guarantee you a far, far fewer amount of people are going to want to take a Eurostar to Disney, because the reason they took the Eurostar there was the convenience of getting on at either King's Cross, Ashford or Ebbsfleet and getting off at the resort. Take that away, nobody's going to want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm taking the kids over in October. I'm driving. It's easier.
Yeah.
And when I came over with you, when I came over to see you, I drove because it's easier.
Indeed.
Indeed it is. Anyway, John, do we have a list?
Yes, we do have a list, Ben. As they say in the old school, roll VT.
Right, John, go for it. Go for it. Take us straight in.
Okay, I want to start off with this whole deep state QAnon type thing. We mentioned this before, right?
I mean, starting heavy. Start, you mean to go on, John?
Well, I thought I'd get the heavy crap out of the way, right? And then move into the bit of a lighter, more light-hearted show.
Okay.
But why do people hang on to this? You know, it's like why? What has ever happened that has made you think anything that these people have come out with is ever going to come to fruition? I don't see anyone getting pulled up for this. I don't see anyone getting arrested. I don't see anyone getting hung. I mean, the only people that have been pulled up is Epstein, right? Which really didn't kill himself, and Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, none of the people that have gone to that island have been hung up. So obviously, Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell did everything themselves, and it wasn't for the benefit of anyone else, was it?
Well, if you believe what's been going on, no, absolutely not. I mean, once again, he definitely 100% did kill himself, John. 100%, just like Prince Andrew can sweat. His mate, can't sweat. Definitely can't sweat.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I mean, and all this nonsense about Trump and everything. You know, Trump ultimately was just a businessman. And he was doing what he did best. He was trying to run the US as a business. And it was working.
It was working. The economy was freaking booming.
It was working and everything was going fine. And this new guy...
the big guy.
Peter,
yeah.
Peter File. He's just bringing the whole thing down to his knees. I mean, he's a joke.
He's got dementia, and that is, you know.
Yeah, but it's not even him. That's the problem. It's the ruling party that is the problem.
Oh, absolutely. The Democrats are insane. They're absolutely insane. A question from Vaughan in the chat: is Q still a thing, though? I mean, to many, yes.
Yeah. People still believe in it. Yeah. I don't know why. This is the part I don't understand. I have no idea why. Because nothing's ever happened that's come true.
No, that is just press the button, John.
That's true.
Yeah, just press the button. That's it. It was a LARP. It was a meme. You could even say it was a psyop, right?
It's certainly a meme. Yeah.
It was certainly a meme, and at no point did I look at what they were saying. I mean, remember, these are the same individuals or group of people that said that Joe Biden was going to be arrested at his inauguration.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like, who are they? I mean, why do they think this? Who are they kidding on? And I'm actually getting quite concerned because there are people that I've known, or when I say I've known them, I have been an acquaintance of them on social media platforms for quite some time
I
now.
think I know specifically who you're
Oh,
talking about.
yeah, but I'm not
I
going to
won't say anything.
but people just seem to be going awry.
Mm.
You know, they seem to have lost the plot altogether. And is it maybe because nothing's happened and nothing's going to happen?
What people don't seem to like. So when it comes to us, for example, for the last 2.5 years, right? Some of the stuff that personally I did was very bombastic, outrageous, outlandish, loud, and out there. But realistically speaking, it was very reasonable, right?
Yeah.
The points I were making were always very reasonable, and I think that's why the few times that I did gain a large following, I think that's why, because what I was saying was relatable. It wasn't outlandish. It wasn't really conspiratorial. It was just simply use your eyes. What you're seeing doesn't add up with what you're being told, and that's that. But some of the people, and I share your concern, because some people have gone so far down rabbit holes, right, that they are saying things which concern me. I mean, I won't utter things here specifically. Maybe we do a separate show or something about it. But I agree with you. Some of the people that I used to speak to very often, it's almost like they have to have something that is going to happen, or
it's a bit like the reverse of the lefty victimhood culture.
Yeah.
You know, because all the lefties all want, they really, really want to be victims.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want to suffer from diseases. They want to, you know, and I'm not meaning yourself, but they want to be disabled, and they play on it, and they want, you know, they're just a victim. Everything's a victim. They want to be in fear of climate change.
Well, the victimhood is currency to them, right?
Yeah, it is, and this is possibly the more right wing side of it exhibiting itself. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I couldn't possibly comment on it.
No, but like you've been saying, I'm just very worried about certain individuals and where their state of mind is at, and some of the things they're saying, and what they might, and I might be being bombastic and outlandish here, but what they might do based upon what they're saying.
Yeah, I just don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either. Now, do we leave that there?
Well, I think that's all we can do, because, you know, there's nothing we can do at this moment in time. But we can certainly monitor and revisit.
Lisa, everyone's heart here always goes out to you and your family, right? She says, "I don't want to be ill or a victim. I want a bloody miracle."
But I'm not meaning it directed at individuals. This is like it's spread across a whole subset of people, particularly on the left, who've taken this victimhood. I mean, I could play the victim as well. I've lost a business. I've lost a house. I nearly lost a daughter. I've lost, you know, I lost all my lifestyle. I've lost everything. I've no money. I'm just as poor as Ben.
Oh, just as poor as Ben. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I'm pretty poor. We're pretty poor.
We're both pretty poor. You know, so things have changed dramatically, but there's no point in playing the victim. You just got to do your best. Get on.
I mean, personally speaking, my finances are in absolute ruins, and that's because of the price of energy and things like that. I mean, I said the other day, I told John and Adam exactly how much money I've got in my bank account, and it's not good, right?
And all you can do is continue the fight.
Well, exactly, because I've lived like this my entire life. I've never known what having money is, right? I've always lived hand to mouth. It's always been a quote unquote struggle, and so this just feels like an even bigger struggle than we've had before. But we will persist. We will get through it, and you know what? We'll do it in style.
Yeah, I know. And it's crazy because, I mean, it's like things that I didn't think about before. I have to think about now. It's like I have to say to the wife, we can't afford to have 2 Starbucks a day.
No.
You know.
I mean, between the two of you, having 2 Starbucks a day is like 16 to 20 quid.
Well,
right?
yeah, it's crazy. Well, though we're down to Americanos now because we're both keto. But speaking of Starbucks, can I just point something out to the uninitiated?
You can.
Starbucks is a franchise, and as such, if one branch puts out it's going cashless, it doesn't mean every bloody Starbucks is going cashless.
Yes, so this obviously goes to the sign that was posted on social media within a Starbucks that said they were going completely cashless, right? And before you go on the tirade that I know you want to go on, right?
I'm not going to go on it. But
I can see where the confusion lies, because this sign is a simple sign. It's on the counter of a Starbucks franchise, as you say. It's got the Starbucks logo on it, and it just says, we are going cashless.
Yeah.
So it's easily confused to be a company statement, in my view.
It's see, the problem is people don't think, and they just knee-jerk every time. They never look at anything critically.
Yeah.
They just knee-jerk, kick. You know, Starbucks is going cashless. Never drink there again.
No, I haven't been able to afford to buy my own Starbucks since me and you went away in March or April. That was the last time I was able to afford to buy myself a Starbucks.
But you still managed to buy Red Bull and Coke.
Yeah, because I get multiple Red Bulls
quantities.
But
the tanker doesn't draw up at the door.
I don't drink it anymore. I had a treat with Red Bull yesterday.
You don't drink it anymore. When was the last time you actually had a Coke?
On my birthday in the morning.
Yeah. And when was that? Saturday.
And then before that, it was the follow. Well, I stopped drinking the Saturday
last
before
time
that.
You had a Coke was Saturday.
Yeah.
Which was only 4 days ago.
Yeah.
So don't give me this holier than thou, I don't drink it anymore. Come back to me when you've not drank a Coke for 2 months.
I've gone down from over 3 litres a day to pretty much nothing.
Well, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And in fact, if you were over 3 litres a day, you were beating Mexico.
Yeah, I was.
The highest consumers of Coke in the world.
I was drinking a 24 case every 2 days.
Although I believe Zelensky beats even Mexico.
I'm surprised that he has a septum. Anyway, I can see there are some people watching over on YouTube there, so I'm going to say good evening to the 7 of you so far that are watching on YouTube.
Evening.
If you're enjoying this or you want to get involved, don't hesitate to comment in the comments and share the show. Give it a like. All of that. We are here to have fun whilst breaking down the news, and hopefully we can raise your spirits.
It's quite interesting. Rami's going on about the energy crisis. It's quite right. In the 80s and the 70s, you didn't have central heating in your house. Every room was frozen. That's why you gathered in the living room of an evening, because you had a gas fire in there.
Yeah.
And when you went to bed with multiple blankets. So you didn't have continental quilts. That was a newfangled thing that only rich people could afford. So you cowered under the blankets and shivered away, sometimes even wearing socks and hats. And then when you got up in the morning, you used to scrape the ice off the inside of the window so you could see out and see what kind of day it was. And that is not a word of the lie. That is how we lived. And we survived. We didn't die. You know?
Yeah. So, Mr. Jungle Griffin says, it will be worse in the 70s. My granddad had a coal fireplace, and that thing threw a lot of heat out. Do you know what? I'm actually thinking about this. I'm thinking about having my chimney opened. Right? Because I have a fireplace. It's currently covered up. But I'm thinking about, for this winter, would it be better to have my chimney opened?
Just check that you're allowed to burn stuff.
Yeah, we're allowed to do it.
Oh, right, okay. Just because a lot of towns and cities now, houses are in smokeless zones, so they can't burn anything.
No, we're allowed to do it. So we just have to have the chimney opened, so we get someone who knows what they're doing to do that. Okay,
moving on.
Okay.
So they tell me that we're suffering from climate change.
Oh.
And it's because of man-made CO2. So can you explain to me how the fuck can we have a shortage of CO2 for growing plants and for food production? if we're putting too much into the atmosphere, why can't we take some fucking back out and use it for making our feed? Huh?
John,
I mean, this is cognitive dissonance on a grand scale. Make your mind up. You've either got too much CO2 or you don't have enough CO2. It can't be both at the same time.
I mean, I don't think
the type of CO2, because CO2 is CO2.
I don't think I even need to get involved in this one. I think John has said it. We've got an offer from Vaughan in the chat. Says Shalini could sweep our chimney. She's only wee. 50 quid a sweep. Seems a bit steep.
Just tell her 30 quid. She can have a bath afterwards.
She can have one of the cokes. I'm sure I've got hiding somewhere in the house as a leftover.
Oh, see, yeah, not an addict has a stash hidden in the house. Right. So Russia's playing games again. Nord Stream's been shut down for essential maintenance that they couldn't do because of the sanctions.
You'll sanction us. We cannot fix pipeline.
But Siemens are saying, well, it's not because of sanctions, because there's no essential maintenance for us to do. So somebody's telling porkies.
Well, Russia's playing games, aren't they? Let's face it.
And can you blame them? Because I mean, right? Let's dive straight.
Listen, no. Let me stop you before you dive. It is because of the sanctions, and that's the reason they're playing games. Yeah,
of course it is. And let's dive straight into the sanctions. Okay. And the Uranization of Russian oil and gas. Okay. So oil tankers go into Rotterdam. Russian oil tankers go into Rotterdam, go past the breakwater, turn around, and then sail to Germany because it's now Dutch oil. Right? Russia sells gas to China, who then puts it in LNG bulk carriers and sells it back to Europe at an inflated price. Because it's not Russian gas, it's Chinese gas. So, American companies are now asking Hungarian companies to act as proxies for them so they can still deal with Russia, and they'll give them a commission. So there's only one person winning here, and you know who that is?
It's me, Vladimir.
Yeah.
That's right, John. We Russians, we make the gas, we send the gas, and then our friend China inflate gas price.
Yeah. And the oil still gets through, and now American companies are wanting to continue dealing with their Russian compatriots, and that's how they're going to do it through Hungary. So they're going to make a bob on it. Russia's going to still make a bob. It's just like, this is the best sanctions ever. If you're Russian,
yeah, they're having a ball. I mean, they've got Stars Coffee, Mukruskis. They've got, they've all of these American franchises that installed all of these wonderful things into their cities, their coffee machines, their burger grills. They just packed up and left. Left it all for the Russian government to appropriate. They're having a great time.
You're still throwing money at bloody Ukraine.
Yeah, we're throwing billions and billions of pounds at Ukraine when our people are going to go cold and hungry this winter. But don't worry, because Ukraine needs weapons or something. Granny, we just had a 2-year campaign saying don't kill Granny.
Yeah.
Don't kill Granny.
You can kill Granny now. That's all right.
Granny, according to the UK government, Granny now has to die because Ukraine are in trouble.
Yeah.
You can't make it up.
You can't make this crap up.
You can't. It fucking beggars belief, doesn't it?
It does. So there's a chap running for office in Canada called Pierre Poilievre.
I know who Pierre Poilievre is, yes.
And what's he said then?
I don't know what he said recently, but he does say some quite outlandish things sometimes.
Oh, he has said that if he gets in and he is Canada's Prime Minister, right, he will ban any elected official from having any link with the WEF.
Canada, my Canadian brothers and sisters. Here's a message to you directly from us at Chasing Dissent. Vote for Pierre Poliver.
Yeah. Vote for me.
Vote for Pierre Poliver. If he's honestly, I don't think our politicians should, not just the WEF, but should have any ties to any lobbying group. Should have ties to any. They shouldn't even have a second job. They should have a base salary, and that's that. They should not be allowed to, whilst in office, they should not be allowed to lobbying groups, because that's what they're doing. They should not be allowed to do any of this. But how many of our politicians are on the World Economic Forum's website? You've got Matt Hancock, Savi Javid, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss.
Speaking of the PEFL, right?
Wagwan Boris.
Why? Why must we step up to help Pakistan?
I don't know. I don't know why we must suffer to help Pakistan. John, I'm going to have to let you talk for a second.
Okay. So what I'd like to know is why we've got to stand up and help Pakistan, because Pakistan is a sovereign nation. It needs to stand on its own 2 feet. Why are we supplying aid to Pakistan every year? Why are we paying them now when we're already in dire straits? Why are we paying them? Because they've had a bad rainstorm, basically. I mean, I think something like 1 million people are displaced. That's of no consequence to a country the size of Pakistan with its population. It's up to them to deal with it. It's not. Britain is a tiny island in the middle of nowhere that can't even run an aircraft carrier these days.
Oh yeah, that's broken down in the middle of the by the Isle of Wight somewhere, isn't it?
And the other one's already in dry dock because that broke down first. So I mean, our aircraft carrier fleet is out of commission.
Yeah.
So I mean, we couldn't go to the Falklands and take it back anymore. Don't tell Argentina. Okay, but we couldn't. But Argentina has its own problems because inflation there is rampant.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's
Why do we need to start? You know, charity needs to start at home because
of course it does.
We've got veterans lying in the street, and we've got immigrants filling up hotels and getting.
Isn't our current hotel bill for people coming across the channel something like £5 million a day? Right, a day.
We need to sort our priorities out, because this is not sorting out this country's priorities. And while I feel very much for the people of Pakistan that have been displaced by this is nothing to do with us. And I'm sorry, but you're big boys and girls. You need to stand on your own 2 feet. And the problem is, if people like UK or France or Germany or whatever, if they keep coming in and throwing money at it, that money never gets used for the right purposes.
No.
Especially in these type of countries where it is so corrupt. The money disappears and nothing changes.
Nothing changes. And nobody gets helped.
The monsoon, I mean, monsoons are not a surprise. They come at this time every year, and yes, this has been a particularly heavy one, but if you're going to put flood defences in, do it before the monsoon comes and use some of the money you've already been given. But to have done nothing and then turn around and go, oh, woe is me, you must help us. You know what? I'm not paying the Nigerian prince that keeps emailing me, telling me he's going to give me money. No. And I'm certainly not paying for Pakistan.
Well, unfortunately, John, we are paying for it, right?
Well, yeah, I know, but
it's the same as we didn't want any of the things that happened to this economy. We didn't want the current cost of living crisis. We knew exactly how to avoid it. We were telling people for 2 years how to avoid it, and unfortunately, we have now been dragged down with this ship, and we are going to be up shit creek without a paddle, just like everybody else. And you know, most of the people watching this show, if not all of the people watching this show, were on the same page as us. You know, it was very simple. The way to avoid this, what's going on right now, this rampant inflation, this cost of living crisis, don't close your fucking economy. It's as simple as that. And I saw an interview with Julia Hartley Brewer earlier on. I forget the woman's name. It was a politician, and she said all of this lays firmly at Putin's door. No, it doesn't. No. It was them. It was the Tories. It was the people who made the decision to stop the country trading. That is why we have rampant inflation. That is why we have soaring energy prices. Because our economy was collapsed.
Yep.
And for warning people about this, John, we were called fucking granny killers.
Yes, I know. Yeah. So, right, moving on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Moving on. This is so... During the Florida rodeo, one of the bulls decided to take to the stands.
Okay.
Charged the people.
Okay.
Now, this is actually a bull story with a happy ending.
Oh.
Because although he was charging at the people and the people were running out the way, and the announcer is screaming on the tannoy, "Stay calm! Stay calm! Stay calm!" In the most hysterical fashion ever.
Yeah.
A cowboy managed to lasso it and bring it back into the field of play.
Yeehaw!
Bring it from the spectators.
That's fantastic.
I thought that was quite good. Quite a light-hearted story. Now, I also saw a lovely picture of the German contingent at the UN laughing while Trump was telling them 2 years ago that they had too much reliance on Russian gas.
They did indeed say that, and I've seen that video. I've seen that video over and over again, and it makes me laugh every single time because sorry, he's a businessman. Like you said, he's a businessman, and he understands what is going on in the realm of deals, in the realm of business. I mean, I'm even though I don't own a business or run a business, that's where I'm qualified. I'm technically a businessman, right? And that's why I was able to, and you as an actual businessman, we were able to see what was going to happen because we understand basic economics. And unfortunately, the vast majority of people don't. They don't understand what an economy is or how it runs.
No, they don't have a clue.
I mean, when you see all these people going, "Oh, you're choosing the economy over people's lives," they've got no idea what they're talking about.
The economy is people's lives.
Yeah, they are one and the same thing at this point. The economy is a massive machine, and you are all just cogs in it. And if you start, taking out cogs, you break the machine for everyone. Hence, rampant inflation, cost of living crisis, and my name tonight, Governor Ron. Please give us asylum. We will be good.
So what's Germany burning now? Did you know?
No, what are Germany
They're
burning now?
Coal to make electricity.
Yeah, I know that.
And it's not just coal. It's lignite, which is the dirtiest coal known to man. So they're now burning the dirtiest and cheapest fuel source that they can get their hands on.
I mean, that doesn't bother me.
No, it doesn't bother me, but it should bother those that think that Europe is going down the green route, because
Europe can't go down the green route.
I know.
I mean, the net zero fantasy is just that. It's a fantasy. And especially right now, if you try and pursue it right now, all you are going to do is impoverish everyone further.
So one of the papers said France has capped its energy at 4%. Why can the UK do that? And yes, the UK could do that.
Yeah. We've been asking the UK government to do that on this show live for over 6 months, haven't we, John?
So it would cost the UK more, right? Well, it would cost the energy companies in the UK more because most of the electricity in the UK, despite our world-beating wind power fleet, our fleet of windmills, right, which on average produces 2 or 3% of our electricity requirements per day. Okay, so which is world beating, remember? Okay, 2 or 3% of our mediocre energy requirements, right? Most of our electricity is produced by gas.
Yeah.
By gas turbines.
Yeah.
Our gas shouldn't be particularly expensive because we don't buy it from Russia. We have a fair stack of it on our own. In fact, we would have even more if we hadn't burnt all the stuff off from the North Sea instead of storing it, and if we hadn't destroyed all our storage.
I mean, we had gas storage literally just near my house, right?
Every town had a gasometer.
Yeah.
And they've all been taken apart. And
They have.
Yeah.
We literally, I would say, a good, not even a kilometre from my house. It was there. It was next to Tesco, and I live near a Tesco.
They've
Right?
all gone.
And it's all gone. Blackpool had a massive one near the Pleasure Beach, right? That's gone. It's all gone. But we've shot ourselves in the foot. And this was one of the points that Julia was trying to make to the Tory MP as well, right? That we're not in any way energy independent when we could have been. What the Tories and the Labour governments before them decided to do was remove our gas storage and take away our ability for energy independence.
Yeah, and close nuclear power stations.
Yeah, and they should never have done this. They should never have done this.
So Macron he's nationalised the last of EDF, I think. So it's all under French government.
So now it really is Electricité de France.
Yes, it is. And remember, EDF owns most of the UK electricity infrastructure.
Yeah.
So effectively, France now owns our electricity infrastructure. They're building more nuclear power stations because although they have been putting windmills up like Billy-O, they don't make any bloody difference. And they're not cheap.
No.
And they're not a cost-effective way of making electricity because a windmill's efficiency is somewhere in the region, and I looked this up. I remember solar was about 35%, which is not great considering in 1880 we had solar panels that were like 15% efficient. Okay? They will not come on much further. But windmills aren't great either. I think their efficiencies are down in the low 40s.
Yeah, but also what we have to remember about it with our windmills is they're not very green, are they? Let's face it.
No, they kill a lot of birds.
They kill a lot of birds. They're made of
fiberglass, which is made from oil.
Yeah, and then they have to take something like 1,000 gallons of oil over their lifetime as well.
Oh, the gearboxes. Oh no, it's 1,000 gallons a change.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was like 800 gallons a change. Remember, it was like a mental amount of oil, and they're prone to catching fire.
Yes, they are.
And they use an incredible amount of concrete to stay upright.
They do. And
concrete is one of the dirtiest processes known to manufacturing.
So there we go. These windmills, these bastions of green energy are not exactly green, are they, John?
And they very rarely recover enough energy to pay for their upkeep over 20 years.
And just down the road from me, going a slightly west along the coast, is one of the world's largest wind farms, just out to sea there. And it is ugly as fuck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're just not pretty at all.
No, they're not. Shall we move on?
Yeah, so let's move on. In fact, I'm going to skip this one. I'm not going to bother with it. So the next one is, I've often heard the question, is the Pope a Catholic? Right?
Yeah.
And I found myself asking myself that today because what did he do when he was in Africa?
I have no idea. I don't follow the exploits of the Catholic Church or its leader, John.
Took down crosses so as not to offend any people from other religions.
Well, see, I can understand that from a certain perspective, but then if the other religions are going to put up their religious symbols, then...
I can't because it effectively was a church.
Okay, well, if he's effectively...
Well, you're taking down your religious paraphernalia in deference to another religion who would not do the same for you.
No, they would not.
No. So the question I have to ask myself again is the Pope a Catholic?
I don't know, because there has been such a concerted effort to attack, especially Christianity, over the last God knows how many years now. It really ramped up from 2016 onwards, especially conservative Christians. They are essentially the devil now. Not to us, we don't really care what people practice, believe, or whatever, as long as they're not harming anybody else. That's their business. But maybe he's seen the writing on the wall, or I don't know. is the answer.
It seems a strange thing for a leader of the Christian world to do.
You know what? I have to agree with you. It doesn't make much sense. Before we move on, if you are enjoying the show, then please consider giving it a like, whatever platform you're on. Give it a share, and if you would like to support us and come and join us directly after the show in what we call the after party, you can do so by subscribing on Patreon at patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or becoming a subscribe star at subscribestar.com/Chasing Dissent. When the end credits roll, a patron only post will go up on Subscribestar, or John will knock out an email to the on Patreon.
Oh no, they get a post on Subscribestar.
Oh, they get a post on Subscribestar now. So we put up a patron only post with a link. You come directly into the show. You can join us. You can have a laugh with us. We can chat about whatever you want to chat about. We do this every Wednesday and every Sunday directly after the show. So yeah, and we'll be doing it this evening. So if you want to join us in that, then head over to Patreon or Subscribestar and become a patron or Subscribestar. This is not broadcast, by the way. Nobody gets to see this. This is just a bit of fun after the show. Shall we move on, John?
Yes. So the German government have made masking compulsory on their planes again.
You will wear the mask on the airplane. We don't know why we are doing this, because obviously all of the evidence states. Well, I will not say what the evidence states. You can go to see the studies and make your own conclusions, John. But basically, as Germans, we are known to be very authoritarian at times, and we will tell you what to do. We will make you wear the mask. We don't know, once again, why we are doing it, but we will do it. We will make you wear the mask. And that is the end of it. If you try and give us facts, reason, logic, we will not listen.
No,
we will not listen. You will do as you're told, and then in a few years you will eat the bugs.
And you will like them.
You will be happy.
Right. Peter, or Uncle Joe, or Sleepy Joe, or whatever,
yeah,
has asked Congress for money.
Yes, he has, and this is something that's very concerning.
Yeah. He wants to do a Liz Truss on Taiwan.
He does. He wants to do a Liz Truss. They want to arm Taiwan.
So
they need to stop right now.
Yeah, the only reason for arming Taiwan would be to prolong any, shall we say, military action that the parent decides to take on the child. So the whole thing is a complete and utter mess, and America is trying to provoke it. So last week,
Liz Truss is trying to provoke it as well.
Yeah. Well, the UK, the West is trying to provoke this. As you know, last week, the USS Chancellorville went steaming through the Straits
for no other reason than to provoke.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, and now
Team America, World Police.
Yeah, Team America, World Police. Biden's asked Congress for money. Well, there we go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we've made several videos predicting this exact thing, right? And what people have to remember, and it's you don't just go to war with China when this happens. You go to war with China and Russia.
Yeah.
They are close tied allies, and it seems like whatever was.
It seems like they've got their proxy war with Russia and Ukraine at the moment, and we'll not dig into that too much at the moment. But there's really mixed messages coming out of there.
Yeah,
because I've seen indications that Russia's killing a lot more Ukrainian army than we're being told.
I've seen the same indications. I think that's likely true, and obviously not something that we support. Right.
So now, do they want to provoke another war at the other side? Do they think this is manageable? Do they think that they're going to benefit from splitting these two allies on two fronts?
Well, I don't know.
Those two fronts are further apart for us to manage than the countries that are actually involved in it.
Yeah, it's really weird because let's face it. Let's take Taiwan and China, for example. If China decide to bear down the full might of their army upon Taiwan, doesn't matter how many arms we give them, They won't win, right? We obviously you don't want to knock yourself. You don't want to say your own army is not going to be able to do the job, but we don't have the ability to go up against the full might of the Chinese army. We don't have the ability.
We don't have the ability anymore. Our armed forces have been cut to the bone.
Yeah, and I mean, as our our tech guy, he tells us, and he knows, there are members of our armed forces needing to use food banks.
Yeah, they are struggling to feed themselves.
Yeah.
In their barracks, they are struggling to feed themselves. That's the state of your army.
And that is extremely concerning, because they're not going to want to give their all. They're not going to be able to give their all. And we also have an army that seems to be hiring via diversity quotas at the moment.
Yes, we did do a look at that, didn't we? In fact, that short went it did really well, like over 800 views or something.
So Mr. Jungle Griffin says we can attack them with cyber warfare, and this is something I kind of wanted to get onto as well, because...
Well, hold on a minute. Hold on. Just before you go down that route, why would we be any better at it than they are when they've been doing it against us for much longer? and almost every electronic device is made in where?
Oh yeah, that's China, John.
China, right? And they're all in use over here, but none of our kit is in use over there.
Well, no.
So I don't think a cyber warfare is going to go our way.
No, and I would say to people, if you have a Huawei device right now, don't have a Huawei device right now. Would be my my immediate advice.
And you know what? Have a look at your Cisco kit, because that's made in China as well.
Adam says we make raspberry pies. Yes, we do. But,
yeah, great.
Yeah, but
Solar Winds and Checkpoint. Who makes that? Who makes that, Adam? Oh, it's the Israelis. That's a team you really want to get involved with.
But when we speak of war, we don't necessarily mean a hot war. We don't necessarily mean boots on the ground, because warfare has changed, right? And it's something we had a group meeting about actually earlier on today, and it's something we had a big discussion about, and it's something I think we are going to deep dive further down, because there has been a version of warfare being waged upon us, and perhaps not even by a government entity. But
there are strong ties to the government.
Oh yeah, there are strong ties to the government, but it looks to be like corporate interests are certainly taking precedent over governmental interests, and it's very, very concerning what we are seeing. It's very concerning the actors involved. It's very concerning to me as to whether or not they even know they're part of it, which is...
Yeah, well, I think a lot of them are, as they term them, useful idiots.
Useful idiots, yeah. Especially with what we're going down, and that will be something for another time. But I know we're kind of speaking in riddles, but warfare it's changed.
Warfare has changed, and you've got to remember that China's always been patient.
Yeah.
When it comes to playing the waiting game, they have their 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plans, and they'll pursue them. But when they play their hand, they will play their hand.
The Belt and Road Initiative is a long, drawn-out plan, and it's moving them further and further and further into countries, into cities, giving them much sway, giving them much power. Adam says TikTok is war. We were talking about TikTok earlier. Because, well, the version of TikTok that me and you get and that we appear on, the Chinese don't see, do they?
No, because the Chinese TikTok promotes solid family values, promotes a good work ethic, promotes being a good citizen and doing things right for your country, and prepares you for war. That's what the Chinese TikTok does. Our TikTok has dancing nurses and gay police officers and doing the Macarena or whatever. People twerking, in some cases having full blown sex. Our TikTok is the descent of Western civilization into decadency.
Yeah.
Berlin, Gettr all over again.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with having whatever lifestyle you choose, but it's very telling when you see the difference between the two, and the fact that they don't allow their citizens to access Western TikTok. They don't allow their citizens to access Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of these things, right? They have, if these companies can make an inroad into China, they're going to have a completely different version of that app or something of the like that's going to be Chinese and Chinese only. Yeah. It's very.
Well, tried it, didn't they? I mean, and they eventually pulled out.
I think isn't Weibo? Is it Weibo? Is the biggest social media in?
Baidu, is it? Baidu or Weibo? Weibo,
yeah, Weibo.
Weibo and Baidu's the search engine, isn't it? Anyway, shall I move on?
Yeah, because we are getting to the hour, John.
Yeah. A recent study says that vaping helped a number of people, 30% or something, 35%, to kick the habit. Okay, and it then goes on to detail why they kicked it. So, do you have nicotine in that?
Yeah. So,
which habit have you kicked exactly?
Well, what I've actually kicked is all of the other carcinogenic.
Well, hold on. Yeah, but nicotine is possibly the worst drug that you could actually take into your system. So and nicotine is more addictive than cocaine, right? That's why it's so hard to give up.
Yeah.
So vaping isn't helping anyone kick any habit. All it's doing is moving you from one delivery mechanism to another for the same drug, which is nicotine. Nicotine is the drug that's going to kill you. Nicotine's the drug that constricts your blood vessels. Nicotine's the one that makes you lose, arms, legs, have strokes, die of heart attacks, etc. Nicotine is that drug. And if the cancer didn't get you, the nicotine will.
Well, my plan over the next few months is to reduce the strength of nicotine within my device until I get to 0. Is to wean myself off. Because do you know what?
Weaning yourself off drugs doesn't usually work very well.
No, maybe not.
The best way is either cold turkey, which you have done with the Coke. Mm-hmm. So cold turkey, or apparently there's been a lot of, and do not quote me on this, I am not a doctor, this is not a medical advice, right? But apparently there's been a lot of successful studies showing the use of hallucinogenics while trying to come off of addictive drugs. It works very well. Again, not medical advice. Do not try this without medical supervision.
Well, I'm not exactly going to go find an acid dealer, John.
Why?
I mean, hold on. Let me just call my wife.
Anyway, can I ask you a question, Ben?
It depends what it is.
The question I have written here, and I will read it out exactly as I have it written down.
Oh, Jesus Christ, here we go.
The question is, how dead is the Queen?
She's not dead yet.
Is she not? When did we last see her?
I'm not going down the Queen is dead. I just think she's very, very ill and she's being sustained. Because...
Did they not say she was going to come back out around about September?
I'm going to say something. And this is going to sound... I'm just going to say it, right? The Queen's death would be something to bring the country together at this time. It would be a time of national mourning. And you know what? As horrible as this sounds, does the country not need something to bring it together right now?
Yeah.
I genuinely believe, but this is why I'm getting to my point, because I genuinely believe that if she were dead, they would have announced it.
Yeah. I can't have I'm sorry to have to go back to the last item, but I can't have Mr. Davis spreading medical misinformation.
Okay.
Because nicotine is not and is nowhere near as good for you as caffeine is. You
I
cannot
like caffeine.
cannot compare the two drugs. Nicotine is much worse for your body than caffeine is.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. Right, so we'll leave the Queen. Artemis missed its first shot, and apparently it's now going again on Saturday.
Does that mean we have to do a live show on Saturday, John?
If you want.
What time is the launch? Because obviously we do have a Saturday night.
About 2 o'clock or something.
Okay, because we do have Saturday.
It'll be later because what time was their launch window? 8:30 it was starting.
Yeah, I think so.
So the next one on Thursday should have been like 12:30, so it might be 2 or 3 o'clock.
Okay, well we'll have to see what the launch window is before we decide to do a live show, because at 8 p.m. on Saturday, over on our second channel, Liberté Media, youtube.com/Liberté Media, will be the 7th episode of our very, very critical and honest Disney review show called Dismal Disney, with our host Ollie, who guides us so brilliantly through ways that we can rip the piss out of the Walt Disney Company. But John, let's move on.
Gorby's dead. Gorbachev.
Yes, he is.
I thought Gorbachev died a long time ago, but apparently he didn't. He was 91 and he died yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, 91. I'm sorry, but 91 is a good run.
Yeah, that's all right, especially because he was looking really dodgy at one point, but he did all right.
Yeah.
Right, moving on.
That was quick.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Right, here we go.
Here we go.
Right. So, New York subway surfer, right?
Subway surfer.
Apparently, subway surfing is a thing in New York. Right?
Is that where you get on top of the train?
Yeah. So this guy lost an arm.
Oh, at least he only lost an arm.
He was very lucky, actually.
Oh, yeah, very lucky.
He sounds like he was a line-up for the Darwin Award. So he obviously was on top of the train, fell off, landed on the track.
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
His arm was recovered underneath the F train.
Fucking hell. We shouldn't laugh. But what a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. I'm assuming he had his mobile phone out. He's filming for TikTok. Look, I'm surfing the train.
But in related news, it looks like his sex life is going to be okay because it was his left arm he lost.
Well, I don't know. Like me and you, John, he could have been a lefty.
He could have been a lefty.
A lefty.
He was only 15.
How old?
15.
He was definitely fucking filming for TikTok. He was definitely filming, either for TikTok or the Instagram. I want to give a bit of
We shouldn't laugh.
bit of a public service announcement right now. If you are filming yourself riding a subway train because you want to get likes on the gram or the TikToks, and you fall off and lose an arm, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
you're an absolute fucking idiot, and your parents should have told you not to get on top of subway trains. Yeah. Especially
moving ones. Right.
Okay.
So Brittany is doing that again. What the hell is she up to?
I don't know.
She's now doing like she's posted something saying she's got a video with her long hair and her skimpy pants on and doesn't appear to be wearing a top, but her long hair is covering her breasts. I mean, this woman is in her 40s, is she not?
Look, if she wants, look, once again,
I think there's a want about her. I really do.
I think that she should be able to do what she wants, right? Remember, this is the woman that shaved her head off.
Yeah.
Shaved her
I think
hair.
there's a mental health issue there. I really do.
She's just released a song with Elton John, hasn't she?
Has she?
Yeah, some kind of re-release of one of his songs.
Oh, not Candle on the Wind.
I'm not sure what it is. But
oh God, I hope not.
It was on the radio earlier.
25th anniversary of her death. It could be.
Is it Rocket Man? I think it could be Rocket Man. I'm not sure.
Okay. Elton John must be past the age of being able to sing now.
Hold Me Closer, it's called, says Lisa.
Okay. Right. So TikTok has a new trend.
What is it now?
You should know.
No, I only post our videos to TikTok.
So it's the teenage dirtbag trend. So you post pictures of yourself while you were a teenager with the teenage dirtbag song in the background.
Is that it?
Yeah, but apparently all the celebs are on it. I thought you'd be right into that.
Why would
Have you not got any pictures of yourself as a teenager that
I
you can...
fucking hope not.
Right, and that brings us up to the last item of the day.
Right.
We're back to Japan and the Rogue Monkeys. Do you remember the Rogue Monkey?
I do remember the Rogue Monkey.
You remember how they were trying to kidnap children and things like that?
Yeah, yeah.
So Rogue Monkey was spotted, a macaque. Monkey, not chimp, Mac. And the hunting team went out to see if they could capture this rogue monkey. And they were interviewing the woman who had reported it to them when they accidentally shot her.
What?
Tranquilizer. So she got a quick dose of enough drink to completely knock out a 33-pound macaque, and she went down like a sack of potatoes. She then woke up an hour later in hospital, right? And it was a further hour before she was lucid enough to be able to speak. To say the monkey is still at loose.
I hope that this monkey never gets caught. This is fucking gold. This is the gift that keeps on giving. And I am speaking directly to you, and I know you will never watch Japanese macaque that keeps trying to kidnap kids. Stay the course.
So there you go. The Japanese monkey saga continues.
Oh, Jesus.
And with that, I've come to the end of my list.
And I think we've nicely come to the end of the hour. And I've really enjoyed it. I always enjoy
It's
it.
been a good show.
We will be back tomorrow night with something. We don't really know what yet. But we'll be
Yeah,
back.
we'll do something.
We will think of something. We will think of something.
Might do a performance art tomorrow night. No, not that performance. No, put that back. Put that back. So we might do that tomorrow. Anyway, we'll see. We'll come back with something.
I'm sure we will.
We could review Moonfall.
I'm not watching fucking Moonfall.
It's not that bad.
I'm not watching it.
Halle Berry's in it.
I don't care. She shouldn't have been in it. She obviously need a paycheck.
It's actually all right. Ask Adam.
Yeah, but if we were to review Moonfall, we'd have to be on the other channel.
Why?
Because we review movies on the other channel.
Oh, that's fine. We could go on the other channel. It's not a problem.
Spencer says it's really good. I don't trust that.
No, it's not that. It's quite entertaining, Spencer, isn't it? It's not as bad as you'd think. Anyway, we'll probably see Spencer after the show. So
yeah, I'm sure we will, because ladies and gentlemen, one more time, if you have enjoyed tonight's show and you are considering maybe supporting us and helping us grow, then please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or a subscribe star at subscribestar.com/Chasing Dissent. At the end of the show, during the credits, so in just a few minutes' time, a link will be placed upon both platforms, but only for our patrons or subscribe stars to see. So you have to go to our page, and then you'll be able to come into the show, come and join us, have a laugh, shoot the shit. So if you want to do that, and this is every Wednesday and Sunday, by the way, then become a patron, become a subscribe star. It doesn't matter what tier you subscribe at, everyone can come in. You can come and chat. It's all good. So John, with that, close the show.
So I'd like to thank you one and all for attending this episode 117. 117.
170! I can't wait till we get to 180, just so I can go 180! I tell you what, if we get to 180, I'll wear a shirt with a dartboard on it.
Excellent. And I'll bring the darts. So with that, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, one and all. You have been wonderful as usual. See you at the after party if you're coming. Last word, John?
No.
You haven't got a last word?
Good night.
show this evening, so it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Good night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Stop playing with my bust!
Good night, everybody.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy.
You're a what?
A pianist!
Mwah! Good night, everybody.
You have been a delightful audience. So, good night. Thank you.
Oh, my bottom hurts. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Tim Bob.
Oh, I did love that hamster so. I took it into bed with me every night, you know.
Good night, everybody.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have to go now. I've been standing here for a very long time. I think the end of the show must have come and gone.
There you go. That's our solar system. You forgot Uranus. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for listening. You've been very nice to work to.
Good night, Tim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.